Do you like speed? Do you like going really fast? Well, follow me. I've got just the thing for you. Come on.
10, 9, 8, 7. We have a go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think Canoe Sprint, flat water, is about basically getting from A to B the fastest possible way. I think from a paddler's perspective it's good. It's you're up against everyone else, you can see everyone else, you know, you're lined up, you look across, you can see your competition. And it is simple, you know, you're going as fast as you can from one place to another. We race on a 2-kilometre lake. We only race over 1,000 metres, 500 and 200. The men's race over 1,000 and 200 metres. The 200 metres, fast, furious, very, very exciting races to watch, all within a second, you know, finishing. Whereas the 1,000 metres, endurance, tactical. The women race over 500 metres, very highly contested racing, along with the 200 metres.
Compared to athletics, for example, the distance we race, if we're racing 1,000 metres, 3.5 minutes or just under. In athletics, any running race of that sort of distance, you'd never get everyone crossing the line within such tight margins that we do in our sports as well.
I was halfway down the race in the Worlds and I couldn't hear myself breathing, I couldn't hear my paddles going in the water, I couldn't hear anything else but a wall of noise hitting me from this side with all the supporters and cheering and just a massive noise. It was incredible.
You sort of have to just think about yourself and try not to panic about what's happening around you. I don't want to be disappointed at the end of a race.
Basically it's just a 200 metre flat out, 39 seconds it takes for the C1s, and it's just big guys going nuts really.
This is a K1 kayak. It's a closed-top boat with a seat and a footrest. The paddles are double-ended, so a stroke's taken on each side of the boat. Here we have a C1 or a canoe boat. It's an open-deck boat. The paddler is in a kneeling position with a single-ended paddle and T-piece paddling on just one side of the boat.
So there's K1, which is one-person boat. Obviously, he's in charge of everything that he does. Whereas you've got the K2, 2 people in the boat. The guy in the front sets the rate, sets the rhythm, very important. Guy in the back's just putting as much power in as possible. A lot tougher in the K4, obviously 4 people in the boat. Again, the driver sets the rate, sets the rhythm. You've got the 3 guys in the back in this time, they're the engines, they're getting the boat up to speed. But they all have to gel together. If they don't gel together, if they don't call the calls at the right time, then the boat falls apart. Okay, you've got the C boats, which are the Canadian boats. You've got C1, C2 and C4. The number stands for how many people are in the boat. This is the Canoe Sprint Paddler's Samurai Sword. It's state-of-the-art design, it's full carbon, and it cuts through the water like a blade. The F1 boats of canoeing, basically, they're made for maximum speed, so they are twitchy, you know, people do fall in. With both the Canadian canoes and the kayaks, they're both made from carbon fibre. You don't want any movement, you want to be as rigid as possible so they get maximum speed. It is similar to the sort of Formula One, they're high-tech boats. With the Canadian canoes, it's a lot harder to steer. They don't have a rudder, whereas the kayak does. Yeah, with the rudder, there's basically a tiller bar in between your feet. So it is as simple as you push it over to the left and you move left. And then the wires go all the way to the back of the boat where you have the rudder, which moves the right way. With the Canadian canoeing, you've got one blade. They do something called a J stroke, and the basic technique is to lunge forward, get as far forward as they can with that lunge, get out nice and early and then repeat that action. Whereas with the kayak, you're obviously either side, still reaching forward as far as you can, but it's a rotation movement. You're rotating round instead of like the lunge, so that's the difference. You learn the way the boat moves because it does roll on the water. It just, it does roll over, and you learn to work with that. That's part of the reason, you go so fast. You rock with it. It's the whole flow of the movement is the instability of and the reaction time of it, and it's nice. That's what you work with, and that's what's exciting about it. Having a great boat's really important, but you're not going anywhere without one of these. All the training that you do, all the gym work, all the running, all the swimming, all that work that you do, and then being able to put it down, and like when you cross the line, that's everything that you've done, and it's all in. That's all that's important really, is when you get onto the start line, it's just easy. You just do everything that you can, and all the hard work and that you've done is just translated into the water.
Really try and stretch it forward, Tom. Bury that blade as far in advance as you can.
It's such a hard sport, It's very technical, but it's you are using the whole of your body. People think it's just upper body, but it's not. You are using everything. So it's very close to cross-country skiing. And they're some of the fittest athletes out there because they are using the whole of their bodies.
You just need some basic qualities of general physiological fitness, but then you can use the body limbs that you've got, the limb size you've got, to actually accommodate your technique to make the boat move. So it doesn't matter whether you're a girl or a boy, you can use your own body shape to your advantage if you're taught the right technique.
Being a sprint athlete, I'm concentrating on the sprint events in the 1,000, the 500, but the skills that you learn and you develop in part of training you can use across the board with kayaking anyway. I used to do marathon racing, and I'll carry on doing marathon racing later on, and the sorts of training we do make you very, very aerobically fit.
You need power to weight ratio, and that, if you're too big and bulky, you've got to be doubly strong to move that body weight. So you just need to be strong enough for your weight. And it is a strength endurance or a power endurance sport, so you don't need to have the biggest 1 RM, that's how much weight you can lift for 1 rep. You need to be able to move the weight for a lot of times. You come down the course, you might do 200 strokes. You need to keep moving the weight. So you don't need to be, a bodybuilder. You actually need to be, a fit kayak athlete.
You've got to be massively strong in the core. We do a lot of core work. It's part of our daily training. But yeah, you have to have as strong a core as possible so you can put all the power down so you can get the boat up to maximum speed. If you haven't got core strength, this is what happens.
It's such a hard thing, sport it's right at the cutting edge there. You're putting yourself on the line every day and trying to push yourself better and better, and it takes years and years just to improve a fraction of a second.
The key to having a good race is to get a perfect start. The first few strokes, obviously very important. Get the boat up and running. You can only affect what you're doing. So when you do get the boat running well, then it's you fly along, and that's I think where all athletes would go. They enjoy it the most is when they know they're running the boat well. The technical side of canoeing is so important. You have to be paddling well to go fast. You have to be getting round. You have to be reaching as far forward as possible. The rotation, there's so much, it's your whole body's used. It's like a lot of people will think that it's just your arms, but it's not. It's your legs, your hips, your rotation. It's all so important. You've got to get round as far as possible, and that is arm forward as far as possible, rotating round along with your leg. Your legs go down, you're pushing on one side like a cycling motion, rotate all the way around there onto the other side, out as quick as you can, start coming out at your knee, out by the hip, into the next stroke, again as far forward as possible, and then just repeat.
I think it's a great sport for just finding your own individual determination, spirit, the qualities that are going to hold you in stead for life. as well as in sport, which I'm really interested in. And I think it's one of those sports that, you know, you're out there and it is all dependent on you. There's also part of it being with nature. You know, some of my fondest memories as a paddler, as a young paddler, was out on the water early morning. There's mist on the water, and you know, just the solitude, just being part out of the hustle and bustle, and you're training hard, and you know, no one else is there to witness it except yourself, and you rank yourself, and that's the satisfaction you get.